Okay, in this video, we're going to take our inventor skills to the next level where we've created parts. Now we're going to try to put these parts together in a file called an assembly. Remember, we talked about an assembly as a special file where we put parts, two or more parts rather, together to actually produce them. So the first thing you're going to want to do is you're going to want to actually create the parts for your puzzle cube. So let me just show you what we need to do that first. Here's my folder. You have a folder like it. Yours also has activity 4.2 in here. But before you do anything, make a folder in your desktop folder for the puzzle cube. And then you need to make sure you go through the process of creating a new project file that's going to save your inventor work into that folder. I can help you if you need help reminding how to go through that process. But don't start work until we have a place to put all of this puzzle cube parts. Okay? So I've already done that. And a couple things that I'm going to want to encourage you to do as you're building your parts. Some of you chose to leave your wooden parts actually natural, and that was fine, but you might want to distinguish them when you're putting them together in the assembly. If we have a whole bunch of gray parts together, it's hard to figure out where one part begins and the other ends. So I would suggest you to give them colors, and that's pretty simple in Inventor. So I'm just going to go up here, a little color wheel. I'm going to pull that down. This should have been my red part. So what I'm going to do is highlight the whole part, go over to the color I want. You can scroll down here. This is what I want. I'm going to say assign to selection. And there it is. I'll hit Control Save to save that change also. So now that part is red. Now what are we going to do? Is now we're going to open up, and at least in this class, it'll be your first assembly, your first .iam file. So I'm going to go ahead and open one up. It takes a moment. And from here, what we need to do is we need to place our parts. So I'm going to go to place, just regular generic place here will work, and it automatically goes to your project file for the parts that you might want to put together. So I'm going to put two in together. I'll put that one in. I only need one of them, so hit escape just to give myself one, and then I'll put another part in too. Let's put in red part maybe. Okay. Now that I think about my parts, I don't think I want the blue and the red because they don't really fit together in my puzzle piece. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and get rid of the blue part, and I'm going to place a part that I know that I can fit together, and that would be the green part for mine. There it is. So one of the things we always want to do when we're starting to do an assembly is you want to more or less orient the parts on the screen how you want them oriented in real space. So for me, I'm going to go ahead and take my red part and my green part. I'm looking at them in front of me like that, and then I'm going to free rotate this. And you'll notice that they rotate together. So if I want to manipulate just one, I'm going to go to free rotate, click it, and then if I move that cursor inside that circle, it rotates this way. If I move it this way, you'll get a different rotation. So I want something close to that orientation. And then I'm going to do a free rotate on the green one to get it towards the orientation that I want, which I think will be good in this orientation. So before I even try to put things together, I've more or less got them ready to move into, you can imagine this piece is going to slide in there. So how do we do an assembly? How do we bring pieces together? There's two main commands to start with, and they're referred to as constraints. So we are either going to do a mate constraint, which will bring two surfaces together. And then we can also do a flush constraint, which will make two surfaces lie on the same plane. So I'll show you how we might want to do this. The first thing I might want to do is take this region right here and mate it with that region right there. So we'll go ahead and try that. It's already clicked, I've highlighted mate. I'm going to hit that surface. I'm going to hit this one, and I'll hit apply. So it has done it. Move it back there, but you'll notice they're offset still a little bit, so that's not the only thing that I need to account for when I'm assembling this. It brought these two pieces together, but it's still not quite in alignment. So there's a couple other things that we can do to do that. I think I'm going to try to finish this up with just two flushes. So you'll notice that this face is not flush with that face. So I'll select the flush constraint, hit that face and this face, and hit apply, and we're almost there. A couple other things I can do then. Here I want to bring these two flush. So I'll again hit the flush constraint, that face with this face, hit apply, and you'll notice now that those pieces then fit together. So that's the basics of how you do a start an assembly with a mate and a flush constraint. You can try the same thing with your parts.